Why do you enjoy watching a thriller film?
I love the edge of your seat action. I always like that feeling when you're not sure what's going to happen. You're trying to work it out in your head. I like it when it twists and turns. You're never quite sure how it's going to end, and I think that's what makes a really exciting film.
I like the feeling of suspense and the feelings that in thriller films it's usually an everyman type of figure. So what I mean by that, it could be a person like me, a person like you, a person like you. It's usually not like a superhero. So for example in Flight Plan, it's Jodie Foster as a normal mum who loses her daughter on a plane, and thrillers ask you the question, what would you do?
Yeah. What would you say a true thriller film is?
Being slightly older, I would go for Hitchcock films. He was the king of thrillers. He made films obviously such as Psycho and The Birds, etc. And again, he came up with pretty much all the rules about suspense. You know, making sure that if there's a bomb under the table, the audience knows there's a bomb under the table, and so you can eke out the suspense of that. So for me, Hitchcock made the pure thrillers. North by Northwest, for instance.
And from a modern point of view, David Fincher for me is the best thriller writer. So films like Seven, that film just asks you questions all the way through. It's exciting, and the twist at the end, and you'll be thinking about that for weeks. But he did Panic Room as well. One of my favourite films by Fincher is The Game. And and you watch that film, you never know what's going on, and you always think, right, I've got this pegged, but actually 10 minutes later they've completely changed it again. So that's a fantastic film. And it basically you learn from the school of Hitchcock, I imagine.
What do you expect when watching a thriller film?
What would you expect?
Yeah.
I've already talked about the character being a normal person. With a normal person, it's got to be like a normal setting. So obviously with horror films, you expect the setting to be like a haunted house, etc., etc. Thrillers can take place anywhere. It could take place on a cruise ship, it could take place in a school, it could take place in a wood, it could take place in the Antarctic. It doesn't matter. So with thrillers, you've got a real wide range of different things. I would also associate weapons such as knives, etc. with thrillers, usually because, again, it's everyday objects that are being used within there.
Same.
What is your favourite genre of thriller?
I like horror thrillers. I like horror films anyway, but I like again the everyman situation that you believe that this could happen in the real world, and it just makes it slightly more creepy. I like action thrillers as well. Not just a simple big gun shooting everybody that comes along. I like thrillers I have to think about, and I have to work out what's going to happen. I enjoy those, and a thinking man's action film.
I like psychological thrillers, where you see a protagonist or the main hero of the film, and they're going through some psychological damage, and you need to know what's happened to them and how they're going to resolve that problem. So some psychological thrillers like that I really like getting my teeth into. Again, that goes back to Hitchcock. I also like supernatural thrillers as well. The reason being is it's always nice to think, what if? So instead of watching just like a boring old soap opera where it's just about normal life, you get that, but then also you add in ghosts and ghoulies and stuff like that. It's quite cool.
What is your favourite thriller film and why?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
For me, it is Seven. I remember I was 15 when I first saw it, and from that point, I think that's really when I got into films, because I just loved how it left me thinking. I remember I had to go after work after it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it for the whole night, the next couple of days, and I just keep watching it. I love showing it to students, especially A-level students, because they never see what's coming, and I think it's the real passion of filmmaking. For me, it's number 7.
I've got two. I've got an older film and I suppose the newer film is actually quite old now as well. North by Northwest by Alfred Hitchcock. It's got all the classic elements of a thriller. You've got a man on the run, you've got an object that needs to be rescued, and you've got a villain who needs to sort of capture the hero. It's set all across America. It uses famous monuments very well, and there is a real sense of suspense and a real sense of a thrill of the chase, especially in this sequence where the main character is nearly gunned down by a crop duster plane, which is quite interesting. In terms of newer films, the action thriller Die Hard is my favourite. Again, everyman sort of character, alone against terrorists in a claustrophobic space, what would you do? I really like that.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah.